An investigation by a nonprofit found that landlords in California are rejecting tenants with Section 8 rental vouchers, even though there's a state law making that illegal. And it absolutely is the truth. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting story for you today, and it's coming out of the great state of California, and it has to do with their law that requires landlords to accept tenants with Section 8 rental vouchers, okay? So there was an investigation by this nonprofit, and it found that more than 200 landlords were rejecting people with these vouchers. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised one bit, because a lot of landlords, they just don't want to have to deal with it. So, you know what? There are landlords, lots of landlords out there who already take people with Section 8 vouchers, but the federal government, when they implemented the program, they said that, hey, this program is not mandatory. It's not mandatory for landlords to have to accept these vouchers. Instead, it's voluntary, kind of like our military. You know, it's not mandatory that you serve in the military. It is voluntary. It's a volunteer military. Well, the same thing with the Section 8 voucher program, okay? So it boggles my mind that these states, these cities, these municipalities are coming in there, they're passing these laws saying that landlords have to take the people with the vouchers even when they don't want to. Yet they are surprised when they find out, well, you know what, they're still not taking them. Well, of course not. Of course not. They're going to find some way to get around the law. Or in the case of some of these landlords, they will take, just the bare minimum number of people with the vouchers so that the government is off of their back. And, what do you mean we don't accept the voucher? I got one Section 8 tenant in a 200-unit building. See, that's proof right there that we take people with vouchers. Meanwhile, they're rejecting all the rest, So here's my problem, okay? I don't agree with the law. I don't agree with the law at all. I think that forcing landlords to take these vouchers is, it's trampling on our property rights. We should have the ability to exclude people at our will, okay? We're not your social housing provider. If you're so worried about it, here's my suggestion to the government. Start building more government housing. You see how that turned out in the past, though, right? It was a complete failure. That's why they moved to this voucher program and the voluntary participation in it in the first place, because the government is sucky. They suck at the housing business. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So do you believe, like I do, that yes, these landlords are rejecting people with Section 8 vouchers in spite of the law that mandates that they have to? Or do you believe that these landlords are really complying with the law and maybe there was a mistake? Or do you believe this whole thing is just a complete joke? What is your opinion of this situation? Do you agree with the law? Do you think that landlords should have to take these vouchers? Or do you think, like I do, that no, they shouldn't? Anyway, let me know what you think. Let's get into the article and see what it says. This article is coming from greenwichtime.com, and it says, investigation finds widespread discrimination against Section 8 tenants in California. Let's get into it. California tenants who held Section 8 vouchers were refused rental contracts by more than 200 landlords, including major real estate firms, according to an undercover investigation that found widespread discrimination in the state. The investigative nonprofit Housing Rights Initiative announced Tuesday that it has filed complaints with the California Civil Rights Department, alleging landlords violated a state law against denying leases to renters who pay with vouchers. It seeks penalties against 203 companies and individuals. The nonprofit is also pushing for more state funding to adequately enforce the law, which Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom signed in 2019. So yeah, that's what they're really looking for, right? They're looking for, one, this is a nonprofit, so they want more state money. Basically, the nonprofit is acting in this manner because the state government is feeding them money, okay? Paying for lawyers for tenants, paying for these nonprofits, giving these people millions of dollars so that they can go after landlords for operating their businesses in the way they see fit. And they say, oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah, it is fair. Okay? It is fair. And the only reason you don't think it is because you have no clue the trouble that a lot of landlords have to go through to deal with Section 8 tenants and the problems that Section 8 tenants have, which is exactly why they don't want to have them up in their properties, okay? Let me continue. This historic filing serves as an opportunity for the governor and his housing enforcement agency to enforce the very bill he signed into law and hold violators accountable. The Housing Rights Initiative said in a statement, Newsom's office referred comments on the filing to the state civil rights department. Rishi Khalsa, a department spokesperson, said the agency is deeply committed to using the tools at its disposal to combat discrimination in housing. The department has reached more than 200 settlements related to similar discrimination in recent years, Khalsa said. And that's really what this is. This is a tax collection event, okay? Let's go after some people with money. We're going to get some settlements. Yeah, millions of dollars. That's what they're going to get. And then they're probably going to just give that money straight over to these nonprofits or pay for free lawyers for tenants or other garbage. You know what? This is the problem with big government. Big government, rather than encouraging, you know what really will make it so that more people will want to rent to Section 8? If housing was more affordable, more available, okay? And yet they pass laws that make it difficult to build housing, make it difficult to be a landlord and provide housing, and then they wonder, why is there no housing available here in California? Of course there's no housing available, and it's only going to get worse. We always welcome additional support to strengthen enforcement of civil rights, and we continue to work with a range of partners in those efforts, he said in an email Tuesday. The goal of the Section 8 program, named for a component of the Federal Housing Act, is to keep rental properties affordable and prevent homelessness, which has reached crisis levels in California. Under the program, which has a long waiting list, tenants typically pay about 30% of their income on rent, with the voucher covering the rest. So he apparently believes that the goal of the Section 8 program is to keep housing affordable. No, that's not the goal of the Section 8 program. The goal of the Section 8 program is to help these people who are lower income be able to afford housing. Whether it's affordable or not is irrelevant, okay? It can be 100% unaffordable, but the government steps in and then gives these people the rest of the money they need in order to pay the landlord the market rate. That's what should be happening. Instead, what we're ending up with is the government is paying lower than market rates in a lot of the cases, and then they're telling the landlords, well, you just have to accept this amount, because if you don't accept this amount, then you're not taking a Section 8 tenant and you're in violation of the law. See, there's big problems. Not only that, but a lot of the tenants who are on Section 8 are low quality tenants. And I'm not talking about like the elderly people who can't work or the disabled people. I'm talking about, the single moms who might have a lot of other issues. We'll just keep it simple like that, right? They might have a lot of other issues in their lives, and they bring those problems to your rental property, and the result is it gets torn apart, or they're not able to cover the little tiny portion of the rent that they are supposed to cover according to the law. And you know what? That's why a lot of landlords are like, hey, I don't want to jump through these hoops. I don't want to have to deal with this nonsense. I want to be able to get full market rate rent. I don't want to have crappy tenants up in my property who are causing problems, destroying the place, not paying me a little tiny amount of rent. So I'm not even going to deal with it. And by avoiding those types of tenants and those problems, a lot of landlords have been able to maximize their profits. And that's it, okay? Now, what a lot of these groups do is they twist the whole thing with the voucher over into some sort of racial discrimination thing. Oh, well, the reason you don't want to take these Section 8 vouchers is because you don't like black people, or you don't like Hispanic people, or you don't like minorities, or you don't whatever, okay? 100% lies, 100% garbage. And you know what? To me, if you are so low level in your thinking pattern that that's the first thing you go to, well, you know what? You need to basically shut the heck up. Okay? Shut the heck up and move along. So anyway, I'll put a link to this article in the description down below. Let me know what you think of this whole situation.